There's a drain trap patented in 1892 that costs about $20 in parts and does something modern chemical cleaners still cannot manage. It keeps itself clean through nothing but geometry and gravity. It never needs a bottle. It never needs a warning label. It never needs to be poured down your sink at all. The patent record confirms it in 1892. A trade analysis of modern plumbing code confirmed it again in 2022. And standing between you and this trap is a chemical drain cleaner industry worth over $2 billion. They did not forget this existed. That would be an accident. They buried it under a wall of bottles at every hardware store in the country. That was not an accident. It was a decision. This is the story of the self-scouring trap, and why keeping a drain permanently clear was never supposed to require a subscription. 2,600 years before the Common Era, in the city of Mohenjo-Daro on the banks of the Indus River, engineers buried something in the streets that most of the ancient world would not attempt again for 2,000 years. Covered brick drains, sloped at a precise gradient running beneath nearly every house in the city. The slope was not decorative, it was the entire mechanism. Fast enough water moving downhill meant waste never had the chance to sit still long enough to settle. No standing water, no slow zones, no blockage forming in the dark where nobody could see it. The people of the Indus Valley had discovered something that would not be written down as an engineering principle for millennia. Keep the water moving fast enough, and the drain cleans itself. 2,000 years passed before anyone outside that region encountered the same principle again, and when they did, they built it on a scale the ancient world had never seen. Around 600 years before the Common Era, under the reign of the Roman king Tarquinius Priscus, workers began construction on the Cloaca Maxima, the great sewer of Rome. Engineers routed the overflow from the city's aqueducts directly into the sewer channel on purpose, so that a continuous rush of fresh water would scour the tunnel walls clean around the clock. Rome did not fight sewage with force. Rome fought it with velocity. The channel still exists today, running beneath the city 2,500 years later because nothing was ever allowed to sit still long enough to become a problem. That is not coincidence. That is one principle, discovered twice, by civilizations separated by an ocean and 2,000 years with no contact between them. Keep the flow fast. The pipe stays clean. In 1892, a plumber in Philadelphia named George F. Brown filed United States patent number 477,499. His waste trap was built with one explicit goal stated in the patent language itself. It would resist siphonage, and it would be, in his words, scoured by the water passing through it. Brown had formalized what Mohenjo-Daro and Rome already knew. A trap shaped to keep water moving at velocity does not need to be cleaned. It cleans itself every time you use the sink. Compare that to the bulbous drum traps that dominated plumbing through the early 1900s, wide canisters that slowed water down and let hair, grease, and soap scum settle into dead pockets at the bottom. A 2022 trade analysis of residential plumbing confirmed the difference in blunt terms. Modern traps are self-scouring by design, while old drum traps are more prone to clogging, and their access lids are notorious for rusting shut. The improvement was not marginal, it was not incremental, it was total, and it was documented in the same international plumbing code that governs every new construction in America today. Most people walk past a drain trap every single day without any idea that its shape is either working for them or against them. The ones who find out tend to make sure the people they care about find out too. So why is a self-scouring trap not the first thing every hardware store clerk in America mentions when you complain about a slow drain? Here is what a $2.18 billion industry looks like. Reckitt, SIC Johnson, Clorox Church, and Dwight. Henkel. You cannot patent hot water. You cannot trademark gravity. You cannot build a subscription around a pipe shape. You cannot charge a recurring fee for something a plumber installs once and never touches again. A $20 trap fixes the geometry permanently. A bottle of chemical cleaner treats the symptom, dissolves through the clog for one use, and leaves the underlying shape of the pipe completely unchanged, which means the next clog is only a matter of time, and the next bottle is only a matter of time behind it. That is the financial mechanism, plainly stated. A permanent fix sells once. A temporary fix sells every month. No company here is doing anything illegal. They are simply not in the business of selling you a single $20 part that solves the problem forever. That is not oversight. That is architecture. Deliberate and sustained. Now here is exactly what to do with the self-scouring principle, and it splits into two paths depending on what is currently under your sink. If you still have an old drum trap, the wide cylindrical canister, common in houses built before the 1950s, replace it. A standard P-trap kit with a built-in cleanout plug runs $15 to $30 at any hardware store. Shut off the water, place a bucket underneath, loosen the slip nuts by hand, and pull the old trap free. Install the new P-trap, hand tighten the nuts, then give each a quarter turn with a wrench. Run water and check every joint for drips. If you already have a modern P-trap, which most homes built after the 1960s do, you do not need new parts at all. You need to stop letting the flow slow down. Once a week, run the hottest tap water you have down every drain for 60 seconds. This keeps grease moving through in liquid form instead of solidifying against the pipe wall. For a deeper flush, pour half a cup of baking soda down the drain, follow with half a cup of vinegar, let the fizzing reaction sit for 10 to 15 minutes, then chase it with more hot water. This loosens buildup mechanically and chemically without a single caustic ingredient. Watch for the water forming a fast, clean funnel shape with no gurgling as it drains. That is the process working. For maximum safety, never combine the baking soda and vinegar method with leftover residue from a chemical drain cleaner. The two can react unpredictably. If you see no improvement after 2 weeks of the routine, check 3 things. First, confirm you actually have a modern P-trap and not an old drum trap hiding under the sink. Second, check whether the vent pipe is blocked, which reduces flow velocity even in a good trap. Third, if grease is already fully solidified, one mechanical snake pass may be needed before the routine can maintain the pipe going forward. $15 to $30 once, or a few cents a week in baking soda and vinegar, versus $8 to $10 a bottle purchased again and again for years. Mohenjo-Daro figured out velocity 26 centuries before Rome scaled it into a sewer that still stands today. A Philadelphia plumber patented the same principle in 1892, and it sat buried under a $2 billion shelf of bottles while you never heard his name. This knowledge did not disappear. Someone made sure it stayed buried under marketing instead of physics. What else do you think got buried the same way? Hiding in plain sight under something you buy every month without asking why. If this video opens something for you, subscribe now. The next vault opens soon, and what is inside is even heavier than this.